What's up, everybody? Sorry for the long wait. Sage is in the bathroom. We had to take care of some stuff before we get started. But we're back. Episode 5. Definitely the most important episode so far. I'm going to lower my mic audio just a little bit, just so it's not too loud. I don't want to make the same mistake I did last time. You guys can let me know how the audio is. We'll adjust accordingly. But, yeah, we will have Triforce on soon. He's only going to be here for a brief period of time, unfortunately. But Sage is going to be with us the whole time. It is the most important episode so far. Let's welcome Sage back. It's part 2. He was on for episode 1. He's back for 5. And his mic is a little... It might static a little bit. We'll try to do our best to control that. But obviously, everybody is here for the BDG talk. Brutal Democracy Gaming. The recruitment process and why it is very shady. But before we get into all the shady stuff and why we think it's uncalled for and a lot of people thought it was not a good move by them to do a process like that, I'll give Sage the floor to say a few words of his own. Oh, do we lose him, Sage? Oh, all right. I hear you now.
You can hear me or no?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, you guys already know what we're here for, to discuss the recruitment challenge, all the controversy that was going on, and a false narrative that is being forced on us, and some other people in the basketball community. We're going to touch on, the recruitment, the process as a whole, and some things that you guys probably didn't know about the process.
Yeah, it is. And there's some things, of course, on our part that was not cool. I know, Sage, you apologized. I don't know if it was apologizing on your stream, but I don't know if you want to say the same statement here.
Oh yeah, I could do that real quick. Obviously, a lot of the controversy started because I made my title for my Twitch stream 2 days ago. Had some words that people weren't ready to hear, and obviously, it came from a place of anger. Me making that title, I was upset at the whole recruitment process, and it was not directed at any individual or any of the winners. Rather, it was more so directed at the org entirely. And if I could go back and change the name of the stream title of what I put, I would have changed it to, you weren't looking for competitors or tournament players, but you were looking for female representation for your brand. It's probably a better way to put it than what I chose at the time. That's really what I meant. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's it was, the wording was a little iffy, but it was obviously anger and stuff like that. But I think by the end of the stream, people should realize the point we're getting across and why it is okay. Obviously, it's okay for them to have female representation. Nobody thinks that's a bad thing, but they weren't upfront with it for sure. And we're gonna get into all the details and why we believe they were not upfront with that situation. And like Sage said, I also agree. We have no ill will to the people that won. One of the girls just followed me too. I think the French one, the one that plays SF5. So
okay,
yeah. I mean, she seems pretty cool. So I have obviously no ill will to them. I just hope.
Yeah, of course not.
Hope they get treated well over there. Whatever deals they get, because obviously we don't know. But we'll get into all that. Also, one other thing I do want to mention. Obviously, we apologize, and I think either PDG or whoever works for them should also apologize on behalf of some of the people that they talked to pretty badly. One of them being Posy. I don't know if Posy's watching right now, but he might watch on the YouTube, whatever. I think they should definitely give him an apology because they did my man's pretty dirty, and the Dragon Ball scene as a whole pretty dirty in one of the tweets they made. I'll read it now because I have the tweet pulled up. So Posy made a tweet. Obviously, a lot of people were upset with the process, and he thought it wasn't fair. And Posy made a very, very respectful tweet. In my opinion, I think it was very respectful. Word for verbatim, word for word. Posy said, next time y'all do recruitments at BDG Esports, make sure your requirements isn't for people to pretty much make a video begging to be part of your team on Twitter. You make them look desperate, and you make them feel like they are wasting their time when you don't choose them in the end, right? Pretty respectful tweet. I don't see any issue with that. Man didn't even swear at all, and he says he really could have. But the response was extremely uncalled for. I forgot her name is Kitty from BDG. I forgot what she is, like, if she's just a cosplayer or she like works for them or whatever. But
yeah, she's one of their main representatives.
okay, yeah, she made the tweet. The level of word for word, by the way, the level of disrespect from other people in the DBFZ community posting disrespectful comments like this on a whole new level of low. I don't, and she posted the tweet, that Posy's tweet. She screenshot it. Right? Yes. Now, I just read the Posy tweet. Does that sound very disrespectful to you? I don't think so. I think that was very uncalled for, especially for someone like Posy, who is just working with Bandai Namco, has a lot of good things coming for him as a commentator. I think that was extremely rude of her to take that tweet. Of all the tweets that have been said, to take that tweet and say is disrespectful, I think that deserves an apology for Posy, at least. I gotta look out for the homie. I don't think it was very cool of her to say that, especially about that kind of tweet. And
yeah, I agree.
One other point, directed towards the BDG Esports, the person that runs the Twitter. I see the person constantly, every time a criticism like this comes up for Posy or other people have made criticism tweets, they take your tweet, take a screenshot of your tweet that you made, and just repost it, and that's their response. The title. Yes, and that is childish. Whoever runs that account, I'm sure you're listening, either on live or on YouTube. That's childish. You don't have to keep posting a tweet for every little criticism that is being made toward this process. And I saw they do it. Also, they saw them do it for my tweet, the tweet I made about we're gonna do the podcast. I saw them make the post. They deleted it though, because I caught them.
They did.
Yeah, I caught it. Don't think I didn't see that. All right, let's not be childish and just try to use it as a weapon against Sage. That one tweet.
Yeah,
right?
And they also posted a clip of, like, they deleted it too. They posted a clip from the stream when we were talking about their organization, and they definitely took it out of context. We'll touch on that later, but they think they're slick. Really, they're not. And,
oh yes, yeah. I'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah, I also just want to say, like, it is kind of childish that when they are receiving any kind of criticism that they're posting my tweet, instead of actually, like, saying something about the matter, like, it's almost like they don't have much to say. All they can say is that my stream title was a little distasteful. It wasn't necessarily harassment or anything like that, like they're trying to make it out to be. They're just unable to translate the lingo from where I'm from.
Yeah.
Yeah, continue.
It is, yes, that's a good point. I don't want to forget about that. So the quote, right, the trans, racist, and smash pedo, that has nothing to do with anybody in the org currently, that I know. No. Obviously, I know Cloud and I know Dawn, Yohoshi. They're cool people. I have no ill will to any of the people that are in the organization right now. That quote is based off of people they had prior that they released. Especially the trans racist, an actual transgender racist that they knew was racist before they signed them. I'm not going to say who it was because the name can remain anonymous. It doesn't really matter. That person's gone from the FGC essentially. But I don't want to take that out of context. Not for people that are currently in the org. It's for people that they had prior and that were knowingly racist that they picked up just for the clout because the person had a decent following and was getting up there. But they didn't even bother doing their homework, honestly. That was my problem with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so with that being said, we want to invite our second guest, who has a few words to say. So we're going to bring him in now. Obviously, you see in the stream chat, or the stream title, we have Triforce. We have summoned Triforce to talk some stuff. I didn't get to talk to him. Sage talked to him prior. So apparently he has some wise words for the chat. And for BDG,
we definitely
maybe.
like to welcome Triforce onto the podcast. Triforce, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're Chris.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure that I don't have anything reverberating in the background because I was listening to your actual stream. But thank you guys for having me on. Um, I've known Sage for a very long time. We're talking about eight on the break, and when I
Yes,
heard
sir.
his situation go down, I was like, let me use a New York lingo. Nah, they're not gonna do my son dirty like that. So, because there's the problem that we have here is miscommunication. Actually, I don't, I don't, I don't want to even call it miscommunication. I want to call it the um, the intent not to communicate. I feel that a lot of that goes on in the FGC or esports as a whole between the players and the organization and the audience that listens to the communication between both sides. And when I saw Sage's title on Twitch versus to what was being put out, the narrative, I thought it was very unfair because one of the issues that we have here is neither side understands what's going on for the other side. The players actually understand more about the organizations than the organizations care about or understand the culture in which the players are coming from. And I don't want to come here and spend a half an hour on trying to, because you guys know how I can get long winded at times. I just want to
Mhm.
put out the context because that's what's missing here. The context. I spoke with Sage earlier, and I think
Mhm.
the problem is that people are missing the context. I 100% agree with Sage's the context of the message, how it was expressed. Okay, we all know that it was expressed poorly. We get that, and Sage's apologized that he could have used better words, better phrases, whatever. We get that, but let us not sit here and act like these companies are not picking up girls because of, and where he would use the P word, I will
Mhm.
use the word, the phrase fan service. Um, like, and you know how they tell you, before you look into other people's houses, you need to take a look at your own. This is not me having a comment on BDG. In fact, I'm kind of defending BDG here when I say this. Like Empire Arcadia and any other esports organization, look at 100 Thieves. Anyone ever wonder why they picked up that Nico girl, the boomer Bernie chick? Like,
Mhm.
look at 100 Thieves as an esports organization, and you ask yourself, why did they pick her up? It's very simple. We are in a time, especially this year, 2020 of all times, where content creation is more important than the actual contest of like for esports because of the pandemic. The amount of events available for people to be able to enjoy or consume, because that's the content itself. The competition is the content. It's limited. So a lot of esports organization and gaming organizations, they're now pivoting towards creating content that can maintain the relevance of their brand and their audience's will to consume their content, especially under their brand. So, from a business standpoint, it would only be wise for you to go and find content creators to not only supplement your brand, but also be able to push it when you have an off season or when things are slow. That's just good business practice. So in that sense, when you look at 100 Thieves or you look at BDG or even look at Empire Arcadia, for instance, so this is not me trying to put my brand out there. This is me explaining why these companies do what they do because even we're doing it. Right now, KDZ's playing Valorant. Rogue Yoshi just came from DreamHack on an online event for Fantasy Strike. Sinji's out there playing Smash Brothers on the online circuit. But outside of those events, if you're not like in the LCS, MLG, if you're not playing FIFA, if you're not playing Hearthstone or Apex, not even Apex Legends, Overwatch, you really don't have anything to do in esports in the grand scheme of things. So even legends in the FGC like Justin and Sanford, Yipes and Perfect Legend. These guys they're creating content. They have to create content because there's nothing now. The pandemic stopped everyone from moving around. The fighting game community cut its own throat in the summer because of the Me Too movement. That, well, along with the Smash Brothers community, like that's probably on ice until 2022. If they're even lucky, if they get 2021, that means God's on their side. But like, it's really done for right now. So if you're not making content, there's nothing to go there. So, in the context of what Sage said, they're looking for P, which is really fan service. It's true. They have to pick up some. They have to pick up some girls right now, and it'd be wise for them to pick up girls. In fact, this is a great opportunity for women who are into content creation, cosplaying, anime, video games. This is the time for girls to rise up now, more so than ever. Look at Twitch. What's the number one section in Twitch right now?
Just
Just
chatting.
chatting. Go into the just chatting. What's 90% of the content creators? Who are they? Men or women? Let's keep it real. Men or women? It's women. It's women. Women in crop tops, booty shorts, laying in their bed, sitting there, looking pretty, looking sexy, either playing a video game, talking about anime, talking about their life, cosplaying, body art, something. And the audience speaks the truth. All of the consumers are there. Now, people gonna say, oh man, these girls, but they ain't worth nothing. Actually, they are, because they're keeping Twitch alive. That's their number one base. That's the reality. Look at it from the business standpoint. So if you're not out here getting girls to supplement, and I'm not saying to only use girls. Let's not misconstrue what I'm saying. I'm just saying it is wise. It would be smart. It would be, from a business standpoint, it's just intelligent to find female content creators that can complement your brand in gaming, whether it may be esports or just for content creation. Even the what's the name of these guys? The commentators, the news commentators, the tipsters, what's it called? The Daifus, the Optimists, all of these guys that create news. What do they talk about most of the time? Girls. If it's not Pokimane, it's Beldaphine. If it's not Beldaphine, it's Salinity. It's someone. But most of the times it's girls. The drama, whatever is it that they're doing, good or bad, it doesn't even matter. It creates content that is consumed, because that's what the market wants. So when Sage said BDG is only looking for P, well, yeah, he's right. Now, to the way people are taking it, like he's trying to attack women for that, no, he's just stating a business fact. That's it. In New York, and I'll end on this because I think I went on a little bit too long now.
No, it's okay.
A lot of people
making some points.
Okay, cool, thanks. A lot of people need to know that the players, and this is what I don't like about the scene. You guys have to understand, guys like Sage and a lot of the players that come up on these scenes, they're not executives, they're not administration to any business. These are players. If you go into the NBA, go to a live NBA game and sit in the front row and listen to the words being said on the court. Everything from BA to N to P, you name it. It's being said on the court. You just can't hear it, right? And these are professional players getting paid millions of dollars. But that's just how they talk, because that's the culture of the sport. Football, baseball, basketball, name it, hockey. Crap, in FIFA, you got people throwing banana peels at black people in the stage. Like literally in the middle of a game when they're playing. And that's completely racist. But that's the nature. And people need to be a little bit more, I don't want to say understanding, because you don't want to condone these things. It's not like, oh, so what should we do? Should we condone it? But we should really try to ask, okay, but when a person speaks so flagrantly, is it coming from a place of anger, malicious, vitriol, and hatred? Or is it just some passionate words being used to get to a message? And I think it's the passion that Sage was trying to get out, that he's just trying to make a fact that these companies they're pivoting more to girls because they can provide that content which will push their audience. And there's nothing wrong with that. BDG isn't even wrong for doing that, Because if you don't, I'm telling you right now, as a esports organization, gaming organization, if you're not doing that, bye bye. And I'll end on that.
Yeah, I think no, you make a good point. I think a lot of people, also coming from the side of like, why pick up them and not pick up like Sage and stuff like that, or like other like Cali Mac, and like yeah, you make a good point. That is true. You do need that now, and they have nothing like you just said. There's nothing wrong with that. But the wrong part about it is they are not upfront with it, and they were not upfront with it on this contest, this recruitment, which is the problem. And the way they went about it is not cool. But we're gonna get into that. We're gonna go through all of Sage's history on like what he's been, what the process was like, going through all this and getting to the finals, because he was in the finals for the contest for BDG. But yeah.
May I comment on the last part that you just said? The process. It feels like this is what I'm comprehending from what you said, that they weren't forthcoming about the process, and I will say this: a lot of these companies don't want to take the risk of being forthcoming and explaining to their audience or the public why they make certain decisions and choices that they make, because we are in a very sensitive age, and a lot of people, even though it's explained and it will make sense, you just have a lot of people that just will not accept it, and they'll make more of an issue of that than if they just kept it to themselves. They made the decisions based on their own, and it is what it is. Because I can see people going, well, if they made their event, or they're going to pick girls because they're trying to maintain their audience and the relevance of their brand because they need content creator, then that's not fair for us guys. And you have dudes like that, and they start complaining, and then they're not even good at the game, and then it becomes a war either way. But what they could have done is they could have compartmentalized the competition and said that, listen, we're looking for a guy that's going to be able to do this and a girl that's going to be able to do that. Then the guys could have competed in with the things that's for the guys, and then the girls could have competed for the things for the girls. They would have gotten what they want. The girls would have gotten what they want. The guys would have gotten what they want. So not that it's their fault. They're not to blame. They didn't have to do that. They can do whatever they want. But I'm just saying that it could have gone better if they did it that way. But either way, you're going to always have someone complaining.
Yeah, and to add to my comment, since you brought that back, so yeah, they don't have to say anything, and that is very true. But also to add to what I'm saying is also the whole process of them doing it, like we're gonna talk about Sage in a second. They didn't have to make these people go through so many hoops just to know what they want off the bat, essentially. Like the hoops that Sage had to go through was extremely unnecessary. Like I have been on plenty of teams that I had to do nowhere near as much as that, and possibly get better deals. But that's kind of like, that's the whole thing, and we're gonna get into it in a second. But yeah, I Triforce, I appreciate you coming on, and
yes, thanks for having me, man.
Yes,
guys.
And talking about. I'm glad we got to squeeze you in too, because I was like nervous. I was like, how are we gonna fit this in? Because I don't have that much time, and I wanted to make it concise. But I'm glad to bring you on and like bringing that other point of why they did it, and not to just say the reason why they shouldn't have. Like, what is their mindset?
Thanks for having me.
It was perfect to get that. Yeah, of course. It was perfect to get that brand owner perspective. Definitely means a lot.
All right, I'll be going right now. I'll talk to you guys later. I'll be listening in the chat. So thanks for having me.
Word.
All right, yeah. Thanks for being here.
Be sure to wait. Triforce, where can people find you? It's on Facebook. I feel like Facebook's your main thing.
Twitter. I'm maxed out on Facebook. Everybody can find me on Twitter, and you have my Twitter on the page right now. So I see it right there. So thank you for putting that out there for me, so people can follow me there. But thanks a lot.
Word. FGC Legend Triforce, I appreciate it. We'll see you around.
All right, later.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Peace out.
All right. Once again, thanks for Triforce for stopping by, giving some more perspective on the situation. I didn't think about that perspective, but he knows way more than me on that. So
For sure.
Thank you for coming on. So let's get into it. Let's get into the details. So let's trace back the steps. Let's start back from day uno, the process, right? So we got the tweet. The tweet came out. Everybody's like, "Hey, we're looking for players," quote unquote. I mean, I can probably pull up the tweet while we're discussing it just to give like perfect context. But I'll find it while you ramble and say the process from day one.
Exactly what was going on.
Yes, exactly. So everybody knows exactly because Sage got to the finals. If people didn't know, he was on the last step to getting into the team. So he has the full context of how it went.
Yes. So off rip, BDG posted that they were looking to sign new players. They didn't necessarily say at first that there was going to be a challenge or that we were going to have to do any other steps. What happened off rip was, if you think you can be a part of the org, why should we want you, and why do you want us? And basically to comment on the post and kind of just give yourself like a brief synopsis of yourself as a player and your marketability and such in the FGC, or well, in my case in FGC, but in your in your field in esports, you know what I mean? So after doing that, if they did pick you, which they only picked 13 people out of a lot of people that got chosen, which makes sense. They don't want to have too many people to pick from. But the fact was that it wasn't a deal of they pick you and then you are you get interviewed and then they try and sign a deal with you. It was like, now that they've selected 13 people, you have to compete with each other, which is already a little strange. But then it's like, the first step was you had to make a video basically selling yourself and answering like specific questions. They only gave us 2 days to do it, by the way. And yeah, you had to, it was on very short notice, had to answer the questions, sell yourself, and practically, like, it's pretty much like, I'm making it sound nice, but pretty much what it really felt like was I'm kind of begging to be on the team and I'm hoping that they pick me type. That's kind of like how the video process felt. Yeah, I'm sure that's how it felt for a lot of other people. They're kind of like, why should I have to do this almost? Like, and it was something that I've never really seen before done. And they kind of, in a way, it felt like, like, obviously Posy touched on it, but like, if you don't get picked, you kind of like a clown. And at the same time, it's like, you're putting in all this work to make a video, and if they don't pick you, you kind of just are left feeling like all you did was build up their brand, and it didn't really do much for you. You know what I'm saying? I hope you guys could feel me on that.
I want to cut you off real quick because I do want to read the initial post. I did find it. So this is word for word. So this is the first post that started it all. Do you want to be the next person to join BDG? We will be welcoming 2 more talented individuals into our team. If you want to be part of the family, tag yourself below and why you think we should choose you. Closes on Saturday. Hashtag Apex Legends, hashtag FGC, hashtag Twitch streamers. So that was the initial post, word for word. Just so everybody has the full context of entering it, what, they didn't really give too much details on like what you have to do, essentially, which is like not a bad thing. I just want to make sure people realize what the tweet was exactly.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. My bad, I'm just saving. Do you have the screenshots, by the way, saved for later?
Yeah, so I have my own, and I do have yours as well.
Okay, word. I just want to, I'm just saving them real fast. But to continue from where I left off, basically, so after you make it past the video part, right? The next thing that needed to be done was, now, they only pick 5 people after you make the video, and then and obviously you had to post the video to public. It wasn't a private thing. It wasn't something where like you just send it right to the organization and they review it themselves and they're like, oh, okay, this guy seems worthy. It was like you post it on the internet and you have the chance of making a fool out of yourself. So anyway, after that, you are then the next 5 players that were chosen. This is the final stage in the process. Are there for an interview. You schedule a time on a set day. they didn't give us any information about what was going to be in the interview. They specifically said that they wanted it to be a thing of like, you know, you're answering the questions on the fly, like in the spur of the moment type deal. Um, so, you know, not that that's unprofessional in any way, but it would have been nice to be able to prepare for the interview somehow, you know, expecting anything. Like if you go for a job interview, you know what the job is, you know exactly, you know, you have your resume ready, you know what you want to talk about, and you know what the company probably is going to want from you. But in this case, it was a lot different. So to continue from there, yeah. So after the interview was done, they within minutes within minutes after they did all the interviews, they picked the finalist. It didn't seem like it took much consideration almost to see who was going to win, which kind of threw me off a little bit because I'm like, I would think that they'd have to review. They interviewed 5 of us, which is like not too many people, but there's a lot to consider. Like there's a lot of things that they were asking us. There was a lot of things they were telling us in the interview that, and I'm not sure everyone else's interview went, by the way. I only know from my interview because the interviews are private, obviously. But I mean, at least in my interview, like I was very respectful. I was very honest with the questions they were asking me, and they were giving me very good feedback. It seemed like they were on board with what I was saying, and even saying things like my answers were very good, such and such. Kind of jacked me almost, but you know, it was just a little strange at how quickly they were able to decide who was the right who were the right people for the job. Considering the whole process that we had to go to, it was kind of just like an instant decision, and we had to do so much on our end, you know, as a part of the process. And then, yeah, they ended up announcing the winners, and that was pretty much the entire process, uh, from start to finish.
Okay. So, now that everybody, I know Sage talked for a while, but that is how the process went, essentially, from his point of view, for someone who made it to the end, essentially. So, now I do want to bring up the issue with the process. So, I know people are like, some people don't realize what the problem was with this. And especially coming from Sage's tweet, it looked like he was just mad at you to get picked. Obviously,
Yeah.
you're aware that since only 2 people were going to get picked, you know, there's a possibility you're not going to get picked, right? That is perfectly
Yeah.
fine. And I'm sure, yeah, right, Sage, you're not,
Definitely.
there's no issue.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I want to touch on that real quick. Like, I don't want to make it seem like me posting what I did, you know, adding the Gawkbot and stuff like that, saying the P word, and all the things I have to say, it was not me being a sore loser, guys. A lot of you guys are coming at me saying, like, man, this guy, he just typed that he lost. But I was fully prepared to lose, and I was fully prepared to accept that L. I've taken much larger L's in my lifetime. Even if I'm talking about just tournament, I traveled to a tournament, I traveled to a whole other state by train, by bus, and I take an L and I have to come all the way back home. Like, that's something that would happen on the regular. So me being denied by the org wasn't, it didn't anger me. It didn't like, anger me that I didn't get accepted. My anger all came from the process and some other things that we'll touch on in a minute, but it was mainly the process and the fact that, you know, they weren't upfront, like what we were talking about earlier, they weren't upfront with the fact of what they were actually looking for. And, you know, they kind of made it seem like it was something it wasn't. And yeah, it's not because I was salty, guys. That is not why I said those things. That is definitely not why. I want you guys to understand that. Because setting up for it, me, from an honest perspective, I put a lot of effort and I put like a lot of my time and attention into the recruitment process of what they presented to us, what I thought was a recruitment process, at least. And, you know, I definitely did it honestly and diligently. There was nothing, I'm not salty about what I did, but you will see soon why it was a waste of time on my part. Yeah, take it away.
Okay. So, yeah, it's a good point. I'm glad I brought that up, because I wanted you to say that, so people are very clear it's not because you were salty for those tweets. That was not it. But
Yeah.
let's talk about the issues with the process as a whole. So we just discussed Sage's process, which is the finals. Now we've made about 3 points, kind of like 2.5. Some of them are a little bit conjoined. But the first issue with the process, which is the begging, the begging aspect, and there's a problem that Posy personally had. He discussed on his stream recently. His braid stream. He was getting braids. It was a good stream, by the way, if anybody saw it. So the begging issue, which is like actually probably the biggest deal, and the fact that like why it is very obnoxious that they kind of already knew who they wanted to take, because they made people jump through these crazy hoops that even someone who I had way less people trying to fight for my spot in teams for sponsors, and I had to do way less. So like we just said, right? Let's go over it like very briefly. First, they made the tweet, who wants to be on the team. Then you make a comment explaining why you want to be in the team, why you think you're a good pick. And, of course, you got to get a lot of interactions, a lot of retweets, a lot of likes, a lot of quote tweets. Like, yo, get my boy, get my boy. So they notice you, right? Then they comment like, okay, we'll keep you in mind when we move on to the next step. Then that's what they DM you, right? They DM you like, hey, we want to bring you to the next step, right? And then you go to the video. Am I correct?
Yes. Well, it wasn't even like, they just added us all to a group chat.
Okay.
Yeah, that was kind of how it went down.
Yeah, so you get to that point, right? Then, they talk, and then you make the video. So then you got to put time. Not only put time for that comment so they notice, in a flood of comments, right? To get you noticed. You get noticed, and now you have to get noticed again in a video form. And some people, depending on their effort, they can make very long, extravagant videos. Or, like very short, low editing videos, right? You made a pretty good one. It was edited by Kevin Sparks. So you put the time in for that video. And also I do want to bring up one point. Just because you had a lot of interactions didn't even mean you get picked. There's some people like Kelly Mack you mentioned who had probably the most amount of interactions I saw on that thread from the initial tweet. And he didn't get picked. So, I mean, that could happen. That's fair. I mean, we're not saying it isn't fair. But it just brings back to the issue of like, you go into this very, very long-winded process that even someone like me and probably a lot of other people have been in sponsors that don't have to do this for them to kind of already know who they want, like their demographic. It just doesn't like it's kind of scumbag. It's a scumbag thing to do off the bat to like make it like beg to be on the team, but then you have to do this crazy like long process for no reason, essentially for no reason. Because it doesn't seem like they wanted to pick somebody like Sage Up or other people up from the start. All right, so that's point number one. Point number two, the misleading of what they wanted, this was kind of the conjoined part. They kind of already knew what they wanted, and we have some stuff to bring up. I know Sage you have the screenshots. This came from you. I don't know if you want to bring it up now for the screenshots by the player. I don't want to say the name because I don't know if the person wants to be named. But
yeah, they're okay with it. You're talking about with Shoutout, right?
Yes, we can talk about Shoutout because this brings to the point of like they didn't really mention what they truly wanted. They already knew what they wanted and they already mentioning what they didn't want, but still making people drag on to this process. So you want to talk about that since you're probably the one who read it more than me.
Yeah, let me just pull it up on my stream too for a sec. So the main thing, I just want to make sure we didn't miss anything. So we brought up the process. Now we're at okay. The thing too was so like I was saying earlier, I'm pulling up the screenshot here on my
yeah, just give Sage just a second.
Okay. Yeah, so like basically the process, it almost feels like they knew who they were gonna pick from the beginning, and they kind of were asking. They basically used the people that weren't gonna get picked to help hype up the recruitment challenge as a whole. And so I have the DM. I don't know if you have the DM presented on your stream, but I do on mine. And basically, the main thing I want to take away from this DM, you don't have to read the whole thing because it's quite long. But the main thing is that this DM is from the organization's one of the representatives. The main one, the main girl on the team, her tag is Kitty, and she messaged another person that got accepted into the recruitment challenge. His tag is Shoutout. I'm sure you guys have heard of him in the Dragon Ball community. great streamer, content creator, makes a lot of good guys on YouTube. He was accepted into the challenge, but on November 9th, guys, which is before the recruitment challenge was even announced to the public, Kitty DM shot out. She says, and I quote, "As of right now, I am not able to take in any more players for Dragon Ball Fighters." As of right now, I'm gonna repeat that, guys. As of right now, I am not able to take in any more players for Dragon Ball Fighters. And this was before the recruitment challenge was announced. So not only did they let Shawdell know that you cannot actually be accepted on the team, or in other words, you won't be able to win the recruitment challenge, they put him into the recruitment challenge anyway, and obviously tried to make him make a video and sell himself. And try and basically get him to beg for his chance on the team through the video. Even though he had no chance of winning, because they're not looking for Dragon Ball players. And if you cannot see the questionability, the unprofessionalism in that, I don't know what to tell you, because that's honestly disrespectful to the player on so many levels.
And I do want to bring up, I do want to read it. I'll read it real fast, because you did say the important part, but I can speed reader for the stream if you are on my stream. So, off the bat, right, as of right now, I am not able to take any more Dragon Ball FighterZ players. Right now, I am looking for KOF players to build a team going into 2021. Please don't let this discourage you. Since there are no events going on of COVID, we are limited bringing in new players for the rest of the year. I do like how polite and patient you have been. I am going to be keeping an eye out for you and hope and have you on file in the file for future references. If events are back up and we need competition and when I am able to bring in more DBSZ players, I will be reaching out. Look forward to talking with you in the future. Now this was at 11/9/20 this year, 5:30 p.m., 5:31 p.m. to be exact. So yeah, that is before the event or the contest, which is it doesn't seem like why. I mean, it could change, right? It could change, but like in less than a month, though, like that doesn't seem plausible to kind of have that. Like, they definitely should have been. So wait, let me go back to the tweet real quick. So the initial tweet had. Let me pull it back up. It had hashtag. I think it was just FGC, right? Just FGC in general, and it had.
The initial tweet for the.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling down. Just give me 2 seconds, guys. I apologize. I don't know why I got rid of it. It's like right here, though.
Yeah, one thing to mention, guys, obviously, while Aaron looks for the tweet, this was not told to any of the people that were in the recruitment challenge except for Shawdell, and it was not announced to the public that they were not looking for Dragon Ball players, guys. If we knew that they were not looking for Dragon Ball players, none of the people that played Dragon Ball would have signed up for it in the first place. Please consider that. And we would have never done any of the videos or anything like that.
And that is a big portion. Like Cali Mac was the biggest one, who was a Dragon Ball player. You had a Dragon Ball player. Shawdell, a Dragon Ball player. Posy, a Dragon Ball commentator that worked for Bandai. That was a big name as well. So in the tweet, it's a hashtag Apex Legends, hashtag FGC, hashtag Twitch streamers. They could have put games, they could have put whatever, but yeah, it was before the process even began. Shawdell got the DM that they weren't looking for Dragon Ball players, and then at November 16th, they make the post with hashtag FGC, no context, just give us the replies, right? Just give us the replies,
What date did that tweet get put out, by the way?
Say again?
What date?
Oh, November 16th. November 16th was the tweet.
Okay, November 16th was when they announced that, guys. And November 9th was when Shawdell received this information. Just keep that in mind. That's only, 6 days? 6 days?
Yeah, it's
like a week, not even a week.
Not even, it's a week? I don't know about that. That is like almost impossible to be like, yeah, we don't want Dragon Ball players. However, we do like the FGC to just put out those replies for us. Especially the Dragon Ball community that is very big. Which is not
a little suspect, guys.
It is suspect. I don't know if you can even take away from that. It's not even a month time Like, it could be two different people, but maybe they could have, better communication on that. Like, hey, we're not looking for this specific player when they make the contest. Or even, like, they didn't have to say it, right? They could have just honestly been, like, not even take any Dragon Ball people. They could have just said off the rip, like, when they, you make the reply, that's fine. They need the exposure for it. But then they take you, and they take Shad, and they take a whole bunch of other people that are in Dragon Ball. When they clearly don't. Like, they could have just been like, okay, we have these Dragon Ball people, we're not going to take them. But, it's nice they gave us the replies. Off the bat, not take you into the next round. Right? That seems like, that seemed like it would have been fair. If they would have just put the FGC, obviously they can't put, like, every single game they're going to add for. Mm-hmm. But to drag you and the other Dragon Ball players in there, knowing they're not going to play Dragon Ball players, doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Now,
it really doesn't.
To bring up the last point, because we're catching up to an hour. I appreciate all you guys joining in. We're trying to be as respectful as possible. Obviously, there's some dirt to bring up because we want to show you that this isn't okay. It's not to, like, expose PDG necessarily, but to show people that, like, there's a lot of...
There's a reason why we're upset.
There's a lot of sponsors that do... Not exactly this, but there's a lot of sponsors that do shady shit like this that isn't okay. Like, you can't get away with this, expect that people aren't going to say something. Because it's not cool to the players to do this. For the players, it's not. Like, you gotta be a little bit more professional, a little bit more clear on your intentions. Like, that's not... We're not about it. Nobody wants to be made a fool of and have a process like that. So the final part I want to bring up, which isn't even exclusive to BDG, but I do want to bring up because it's an important thing to say, and it is... I wasn't going to bring this up initially, but because the portfolio talk has been in the books, and it is obviously because of Sage's tweet, people thinking he was a sore loser, I think the portfolio talk has been brought in. And it is obviously, if you don't know what the portfolio talk is, make a good resume, make a portfolio explaining yourself why you should be on the team, and understand you're not going to get picked. Duh. But now, if you do make a resume, and you do make a portfolio, and all this nice stuff, you should expect the org to be very presentable, responsible, professional, and have adequate deals for your exposure. So the rule I do, right? The rule whenever I get a sponsor, or whenever a sponsor approaches me, it's always looking like this. What do I give to them, and what do they give to me? If I give way more to them than they do to me, I'm not going to sign that deal. It is not a good deal for me because it's not it's not proportioned out evenly, right? And even teams like it's not just in clout. I don't want to say like it's just in clout because there are teams that have less followers than me, way less followers than me, and I've taken the deal because they were willing to support me financially in other ways, not just in exposure. I remember one team. I forgot the team name, or I don't want to say team name because I don't know if they're still around, but they had about like 400 or 500 followers on Twitter, and I was like, it's probably a small team. Then they sent me the contract. Be like, hey, we can't really offer you because you're bigger than us in exposure, stuff like that. But, we're willing to pay for an editor if you want to, bring your brand up. We're willing to pay the straight up cash to send you to places so you can pick what flight you want for the hotel. Or if you're going to going to locals like NLBC, we can pay you for this for the month or whatever. Like, they were willing to do it in other ways. So it's not just having exposure. It's not just all about exposure. It's about financial stuff and other stuff like that. Now, I want to bring up these DMs. I'm going to keep this as anonymous as possible because this person did not want to be named. But I will say this. The person that was approached by BDG, this is way, way back. I don't know if it was a year or a couple months. But this person is no small fry. They have, when you have a lot of followers on Twitter, that K at the end of your follower count? They have one of those. They got a couple thousand, so it's not a small fry. And I will read. I'm gonna have to be very careful reading this because I don't want to expose their name. But they started off like this. You didn't hear it from me. This is word for word. I'm gonna say blank if I can't say this part. You didn't hear it from me, but they don't offer anything except free Spirit flights. Sometimes don't even sweat it with BDG and keep it moving. So this person wanted me to just like not make this which I think it is important to talk about this because this doesn't even pertain to PDG specifically. It is about sponsors as a whole and like how they constantly give you shitty deals and people take them because they don't really know what their worth is. And I just want to give it an example of like, this isn't, be careful what deals you take, because just because they have a couple thousand followers doesn't mean they're going to give the best deal. And sometimes the best deals come from, teams with like 500 followers, like I said.
Yeah.
They offer me one of the worst contracts I've ever read. This is verbatim, word for word. Not even worth going after them, to be honest. They give you their official Amazon store, air miles, flights, and could open your own Amazon marketplace with blank money amount of profits a month. So I can't say the money amount because they told me not to, but it is extremely small. It is, I don't even want to say like house. I'm going to say it is, I'm not even going to say the amount. It's too, like, it's so low, like me saying it would be, it'd be giving too much away. And I talked to them like saying if I can bring this up on the podcast if I wanted to. Sure, just give no clues. They offered me blank bucks a month. They had no idea about me, just feeding on my Twitter metrics. Kept insisting I didn't have to do anything, just wear a logo, even though I was asking about how much content they want me to do with their editor. Had no idea what Granblue was. So this is when Granblue was popping for Granblue Versus. Had no idea what Granblue was and kept offering me the place to stay at Evo and tickets, yada yada. So that was the end of that for the person that DM'd me. I didn't even ask this person. This person just DM'd me randomly because they saw I was talking about BDG, and obviously a lot of people were talking about that, so they just sent this to me. So I really appreciate to that person if they are watching right now. Shout outs to you.
Shout out to that person for
I really appreciate you saying that. And another one, I do want to say another big person. So this is about someone else. I can say the name of the other person, but the person that told me the information I don't want to say. And I don't have the tweet as of right now. It was on a Discord, but they eventually said they gave a KOF player that didn't speak English very well a pretty bad contract, and a lot of the KOF players were looking at the contract. They're like, "Wow, this is really bad." I don't know the details of the contract, and also I do want to keep in mind I don't know the details of the people that have contracts right now. I don't know about. I know Tega's in there. I don't know what his contract is. I don't know what Yahoshi's contract is. I don't know what Cloud's contract is. They could have bought better over time. But I do just want to make this point out to not take contracts if they are shady and you think you are worth more, It's just not it's not good practice. And I do just want to say that out there because they threw dirt on Sage and they threw dirt on us. So I don't want to, not say anything in regard. It is not it's not cool to make bad contracts for people. And like I was saying, so I was going back for the KOF player. The KOF player didn't speak English very well. And the other KOF players like, wow, this deal's really shitty. You need to leave. So after about a year, they left. So the KOF players from Brazil, you can probably figure out who it is by me saying that. I don't think there's a problem with me saying that. But yeah, that one's a little bit less context. But the one on the DM that I said prior, that is big context from someone who is very big in the community with a lot of followers, a lot of clout, and has been there for many, many, many years. Like probably over a decade of experience for that person. So that's it for me on my points. I kind of went over exactly what I wanted to say. And obviously, we went through for a lot. We went through Sage's process and how we got in, or how he was trying to get in. We apologize for the harsh words that we said that weren't exactly what we wanted to say. Obviously Sage's tweet and stuff like that. And the issues with the process overall.
Yeah, I did. I just want to say too. I did say if you guys didn't catch it, if you guys are tuning in now or tuning in the middle, I did say in the beginning what I would rather have said as a stream title, and that's kind of all I have to say about that. And but there's something else I do want to mention too is that with the whole narrative of we were attacking some of the winners or we were attacking any individuals, I want to say that if you actually go back and look, you will see that we never went under any individual's post or commented anything adding anyone in particular. We took everything towards the organization. Any posts that were commented on or we interact with were all property of BDG. So please understand that we were not targeting anyone in particular. The only person we had something to say about was the organization and brand itself.
Yeah, it is. We have no ill wills for the people that are in the organization right now. Even people that said stuff like Kitty, it's whatever.
Yeah.
It's not that big a deal. It is video games at the end of the day, but there are contracts and stuff behind this. So we do want to make sure people are aware of stuff like this. It isn't cool to have these long-winded processes. It isn't cool to make shady deals to people, whether if they don't speak English or like just for the clout, and even though they don't even realize like what they do for the community, like the person I mentioned with the DM. I'll read that one more time, just because it is an important context. Yeah, or let me go back. Kept insisting I didn't have to do anything, just wear a logo, even though I was asking about how much content they wanted me to do with their editor. Had no idea what Grand Blue was, and kept offering me the place to stay at Evo and tickets. So they didn't give a damn about the game. They didn't give a damn about the person. They just wanted the metrics, which, at the end of the day is a business, but you can do better business than that. I'm pretty sure you can offer more than a really bad deal. And I can't say the amount of money they were offering this deal, but it is worse than any deal I've ever had. And this person is way bigger than me. Way, way bigger than me.
That's a fact.
That's all we have to say. I don't know if you have anything more to say, to be honest.
Real quick, did we touch on the Posy interview situation? I kind of want to touch on that for like a second if we didn't.
What do you mean? Like what?
Posy was offered, so after Posy commented on the starting post to get accepted into the challenge, they DM Posy, Posy actually made the announcement on Twitter too, so you guys can look back at his tweets to find it. But he was saying, and it's true, they offered him the interview and said that he would be hot listed for the top 5 in the challenge, but and they offered him the interview off rip. Like they said, we'll just interview you, but they went back on their word and said instead that they put him in the top 13 and made it so that he had to make the recruitment challenge video, in which Posy dropped out of the challenge, which is why he didn't make a video, because they offered him the interview off rip and then they went back on their word. So that's another kind of unprofessional thing to think about that they did, because it seems as though since they used the word that he was hot listed for the top 5, it almost seems like it doesn't matter how good of a video he made, that he would have made it to the interview stage of the challenge regardless, which is a little strange, honestly. Definitely something to think about, guys.
Yeah, I didn't know about that. I talked to Posy a little bit, but I didn't talk to him in that much detail. But yeah, he wasn't cool with it. I know he wasn't cool with that personally, and he wasn't cool with the idea of the video because it felt like he was giving too much. Because he's very now he knows his worth, and he's been working hard. Posy, he's been working hard. He's worked for Bandai now. He knows his worth, and he felt like that wasn't his worth, which is fine for him. But I think it's it's a good measure to live by. For in the FGC context, like, know your worth, right? Like, he didn't feel like he needed to make the video. He felt like it was the process was unprofessional, so he stepped away. I think most people would agree that's viable, and more people should, I think more people should be willing to do that if they feel like it's not what they're worth, essentially. But yeah, is there anything else you want to talk about? I've went through everything I could possibly do.
Yeah, I think we pretty much went over everything.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. Only, yeah, the only thing again, guys, I know I used the P word, and it was used to get a certain point across, and I definitely could have used better words. And, I understand why people were upset at that, but it was really to represent, picking up women for the organization, obviously, because there's a reason that they want to pick up women, and they weren't upfront about it, and they kind of tried to hide it. So that was
And
that's kind of only point.
even that, because a lot of orgs do that. And Triforce made that point out. But that part, even that part is kind of okay. But my main issue, of course, other people have main issue with it, is the fact that they dragged it on for so long. I think that's
Yes.
my main issue, is that I'd even enter and
Me too.
I felt cheated. Like the fact that they dragged it on for so long, just to kind of know what they wanted already. Like they could have just been like, oh, we're picking new players. That's it. If you want to make a post about why you want to be on the team, make it below. But to make a video, to make interviews, do all this stuff, to know already what they wanted, is, I don't know. It's just unnecessary. And I don't think it's just to show, like, if you do have an org, don't do that. Don't like know what you want and then make people go through some crazy process. That is no other teams don't do this. I promise you. I have never had a team do this like that. It's absurd. Like you it's just like you don't have to go through all that. Just do an interview if you want. Do something like that. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, like for instance, obviously they also added Alucard to the team, and they picked him. They probably just picked him and interviewed him directly rather than made him go through some challenge process.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
to be fair, we don't know what
Because
he
of
did.
that.
We don't know what he did, to be fair. But it seems like that'd probably be the case. They just had to interview him.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. We're just saying that. We're just like, speculating. But it seems like that would make sense. And that's cool for him. I hope he does well over there. I hope they all do well. I hope all three of the individuals do well. Like I said, we brought up the stuff with the BDG contracts, but I don't know what their contracts are now. So, I just wanted to bring it up there, but I have no idea what their contracts are now. I don't know what they've been offering people as of late. But yeah, that's pretty much it for us. And also, I do want to mention, this is the last time I'm talking about this. I'm not going to talk about this again because I don't feel like dragging this on. It's like, we just want to make it out there because we don't want it to be this thing where it's like, we don't need to drag it on forever. They can live and do whatever they want. They're an organization, and we're just some people that that just
Wanted to say our piece about
say our
about the
piece,
process.
and to make sure Sage gets his point across and to not look like a complete asshole, because it is, it's not the best tweet, but he also isn't a fucking misogynistic asshole, right? Like it's not that crazy, right? It's not that not that OD.
Came from left field. Honestly.
Yeah. But that's it for us. I'm going to keep streaming because I have to play in Dragon Ball later. Whether you feel about the process overall, whether you feel like, I don't know. It's up to you. It's up to your opinion. This is what we felt like about it. I know a lot of people felt the same way, that they didn't like the process. And hopefully it never happens again. Hopefully a team doesn't pull this again. And if they do, I don't know what to say. Just be better. We can all be better, right? We don't have to do some crazy ass shit to bring people on for an org. Because we're not, they're not the biggest org ever. They ain't 100 Thieves, and they're not FaZe Clan, We can relax on the process a little bit. It's not that necessary.
Yeah. Definitely a little extreme.
But that's it for us, guys. Every Thursday, I say 7 p.m., but it's never fucking 7 p.m. We try our best to make it 7 p.m. But Thursdays, mostly every time, every week. I have no idea who I want to bring up for next week, but I appreciate Sage coming on. Also, if you want to have a more lighthearted discussion about Sage, you can watch episode 1. He's on the podcast, obviously talking about a little bit less lighthearted stuff. We talked about Dragon Ball. We talked about a bunch of other stuff. So go watch that episode. It's on my YouTube. It's on the Twitch if you can find it. It's much easier to find it on my YouTube channel. And this episode will be up. I'm going to try my best to put it tomorrow because it is an important episode, so I want to make sure it's there quick. I don't want to drag it. Like I said, I don't want to drag this on for too long. I might end up putting it up tonight just so it's out there and I'm not dragging this on for too long. But, thank you again for Triforce coming on, bringing up some extra points. It's his opinion, right? What he says. And I think he did bring a decent perspective of, a different perspective of the situation. Of why they did it, right? Because some people are asking, why would they even do this? This is why. I'm not gonna reverberate what Triforce said because he talks a lot and he makes up a lot of points. So go watch the VOD or go watch the YouTube when the YouTube video when it goes up. But that's it for me, and that's it for Sage. Again,
indeed,
my homie. I'm glad I did this to clear up your name and to clear up things that need to be said.
Yeah, I'm really glad we were able to do this too, man, because it's better than me having to argue and kind of talk to everyone that's posting stuff that they don't really know what they're talking about. They don't really understand the scope of the situation, or they don't understand the angle that I was actually trying to come at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and also one more point. I know a lot of people are like, "Don't do this. This is pointless." Like, it's not pointless. It is important to do these things, to talk about these things, because like this happens too much. It happens too much. There are a lot of issues in the FGC that happen too often because people just don't say anything about it. So I think it is, we said it as respectful as we could be on the situation, and it's just important to bring up. I think it's important to bring up these things because I don't want to just keep going on and on and on and on and on. I'm not someone who's just gonna sit back and just fucking take it, right. Like you gotta not clap back, but respond respectfully and say like this is not okay. Like a lot of people have, like Posy, like people like 18 and like Callie Mac, they've this is not okay, respectfully. Not bash them to bloody pulp. Just say like, be better, right? This isn't what the FGC wants.
For sure.
Okay, that's enough talking for me. Well, I gotta talk some more after I gotta play Dragon Ball. Let me get ready for that.
Wait, you entered NOBC?
Yeah, I'm at NOBC.
Okay, word. Good luck.
Yes.
That's gonna be lit.
Yeah, it's like 32 people. It's a little smaller than usual, but it'll be fun. I gotta probably fight Pred again. So yes, if you want to stick around, I'm gonna load up Dragon Ball, and I will answer some questions briefly. I'm not gonna go into an extreme talk about it, but if you want to chill in the chat while I play Dragon Ball, if you have any questions about the podcast so far, you can definitely stick around and ask. But that's it for us. Thank you, Sage. Check out episode 1. Check out his Twitter. Check out his Twitch. Check out his YouTube. Support the homie. He's not misogynistic asshole. I know people like to make up shit, but my man is not. Man is not one of those.
The P word doesn't mean that. Please trust and believe that.
Yeah, it is It's not. It's not like that. But yeah. Take it easy, Sage. Thank you for coming on. Check out episode 1, like I said, if you want to see a more lighthearted talk with Sage. And please follow the channel if you want. Follow the YouTube channel. I probably will end up posting this as soon as the tournament is over. I'm gonna have to stay up and do that. But yeah, thank you guys. I like how it feels like I'm exiting, but I'm not actually exiting. I just gotta transition into gameplay time. But I will leave the chat for Sage. Take it easy, bro. Thank you for coming on again.
Ciao, man.
Oh, you cut off for a second. Repeat it.
Well, I said thanks for having me, of course. And yeah, I'm definitely gonna look from my chat over here. Definitely go check out Red's channel. And
Oh, he's cutting off a lot. I know what he said though. Go check out his channel if you want to go see what he's doing, and if you want, stay around.
Yeah. Damn, cutting off. Huh?
All right, guys. Thank you for coming on. I hope everything came across as clear as we can. I know some people don't agree still. It's fine, but at the end of the day, it's video games. It's your life. If you agree with what we said, that's cool. If you don't agree with what they said, you think PDG is fine for what they did, that's fine too. It's not a big deal. But we do want to put a point across because opinions fucking matter. We're not just going to sit back and say nothing, All right. On to Dragon Ball. Jesus Christ.